Hi everyone, we are going to be telling you the story about the evolution of hip hop through the most influential artists of different decades. Have you ever wondered what the evolution was like from the very first hip hop artists to now some of the latest and greatest hip hop artists of all time? Well, our group is going to tell you all about that and the story of how it happened. So, in the group, we have myself, Amanda Marsh, and I will be telling you the story of hip hop evolution in the 1970s. And then we will have Arely Ceja cover the 1980s, Jesus Flores cover the 90s, and Taylor Hagerman covers the 2000s, and Sinyi Zhu will talk about 2010 to 2020. So, with that, let's get right into it. So again, my name is Amanda Marsh, and I will be talking to you about how the hip-hop movement began, and particularly the influence of Clive Campbell, better known as Kool Herc. So the birth of hip-hop began in the Bronx, New York, and Kool Herc actually moved from Jamaica to the Bronx. So in the Bronx, he would take his father's DJ set and throw block parties for the community. And at the time, the Bronx was a very kind of violent place. There was a lot of crime. So these block parties were an opportunity for the community to come together and just really express themselves through music. And so Kool Herc, he developed a style through DJing that involved the playing of two of the same records, but with one of them, he would kind of mess with it. And so he would start to isolate and repeat the song's breaks. And those breaks became really famous and popular, and certainly a staple in hip hop music. Kool Herc noticed that during the breaks was kind of a time where the audience would go crazy, like it was a moment for them to really dance, and that's kind of how break dancing was born. So break dancing men were known as break boys or b-boys, and for women it was break girls or b-girls, and break dancing became obviously really big staple in the movement of hip-hop. Also, eventually with the microphone, people began to recite rhymes, which became known as rapping. And so, again, my name is Amanda Marsh, and just to review what I've shared around hip-hop and Kool Herc. So Kool Herc was extremely influential in the birth of hip-hop, and he is sometimes referred to as the father of hip-hop. He developed a new style through DJing for his community in the Bronx that later became known as hip-hop. And he really paved the way for dancers and artists to breakdance and rap. And so now I will hand over the mic to the next member of the notorious JATAX, Arely.
Hi, my name is Arely Ceja. I'm going to be talking about the hip-hop scene in the 1980s, but more specifically, I'm going to be focusing on the group called Salt-N-Pepa. Salt-N-Pepa was an American hip-hop group formed in New York City in 1985. They were a trio of 3 women, which at the time was the only act in history at the time that was all women, especially in the rap scene. They were signed to a record label and released their first single, Push It, in 1987. That song actually sold over 1 million copies in the United States, and it made them be the first female rap act to achieve gold and platinum status. After that, they released their first, second, and third album, and their fourth final album was called Very Necessary, which sold over 7 million copies worldwide. Salt-N-Pepa have sold over 15 million records worldwide, making them one of the best-selling rap acts of all time, not just of their generation, but to this day. The group was nominated for a Grammy Award several times, but the trio did win the 1995 Grammy Award for Best Rap Performance by a duo or group for their song None of Your Business, making them one of the first female rap acts to win a Grammy Award, along with Queen Latifah. They also empowered so many women at the time to pursue a rapping career because it was and still is a male dominated field or style of music per se. I do want to emphasize that I was not born in that generation, so I didn't really know them when they were popular. I more got to know them later on when they were disbanded, and their music to this day is still known by almost everyone, I would say. Just to repeat what I said, again, I'm Arali Seha. I wanted to introduce or reintroduce the group Salt-N-Pepa, being the female rap group at the time, the first one, winning their Grammys and being nominated, their record sales, and basically being a person in the field to push women empowerment. And next we're gonna have Jesus speak about the music of the 1990s. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jesus Hadigi, and I will be telling the story of the hip-hop rap group NWA. So in the beginning, NWA was formed by former group member Eazy-E, also known as Eric Lynn Wright. The group was comprised of 6 young hip-hop artists by the names of Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, DJ Yella, MC Ren, and the producer Arabian Prince. The group started off by releasing singles, some of them known as 8 Ball, Dope Man, Panic Zone, and Eazy-E's Boys in the Hood. But the group didn't really gain traction until they released their first debut album, Straight Outta Compton. But the album didn't come without controversy, since a lot of their topics were guns, drugs, sex, gangs, and the vulgar phrases that were used throughout the album and on some of their song names. Each group member had their contributing factors. DJ Yella and Dr. Dre and Arabian Prince all produced the music and created beats. Ice Cube and MC Ren both created the lyrics for every song. And Eazy-E was more on the marketing side, since he was the co-founder of the record label Ruthless Records. But as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. And eventually the group started falling apart. Some members left because they felt like they weren't getting the respect or the loyalty they thought they deserved. Others left because of some record deals that they didn't. Some left because they wanted to work with other record companies and they weren't liking how others were dealing or working with deals. And others had felt that Eazy-E had let the fame get to his head and let his ego grow too big. And this all led to everyone dissing each other and just growing the feud bigger, to the point where a lot of group members weren't talking to each other for a while. And throughout all this, Eazy-E had a cough that was getting worse and worse over time, and it got to the point where he actually was taken to the hospital and was Eazy-E was taken to the hospital and was later diagnosed with HIV/AIDS. Once others from the group found out, they did what they could to make amends. They were actually in the talks of coming back together as a group to make one last album, but unfortunately Eazy-E was unable to. Eazy-E died on March 26, 1995. And the group members, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, DJ Yella, and MC Ren, all continued their careers as solo artists. So to me, what really made this group the most important to me was because they opened the door of rap music and gangster rap music to a bunch of artists. Like, we wouldn't have Snoop Dogg today, we wouldn't have Eminem today, we wouldn't have The Game, we wouldn't have 50 Cent, we wouldn't have artists like these if it wasn't for these people. And another reason why I chose this group was because just the learning idea of feuds really lead to nowhere. If they weren't all feuding with each other, they could have created a lot of music, they could have made a lot of money with each other, but instead they were just feuding. And another reason why I chose NWA was because they still inspire artists to this day.
Hello, my name is Taylor Hagerman, and today I am going to be talking in regards to the 2000s era of music. First of all, I want to get into the type that it was mostly, mainly focused was pop, and rap was mostly a big type of genre of the 2000s. Many popular artists of this time included Jay-Z, Kanye West, Eminem, Nelly, and Missy Elliott. Now if I get into some of my notes, pop and rap again was one of the main eras of this time. They focused less on emphasis on the song beats and more so focusing on the lyrics and melodies. One of the main rappers that I will be wanting to talk about within the 2000s times that I've chose to do a little bit of research on is Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is born on October 20th, 1971. His name is Calvin Brodus, but many people know him by his stage name, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is an American rapper and former of the social media world. He then began to make some type of film. He was featured in some movies and began to do some films, but mostly his main focus is creating music. Snoop Dogg was founded by Dr. Dre. If for those of you who don't know who Dr. Dre is one of the main rappers of time. He's very legendary. And Dr. Dre discovered Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg was able to come out with some of his main albums. His first album was called Doggy Style, which was published, and many people that's how he was kind of led into the music world. And from that point on, many people discovered his laid-back rap rather than the aggressive rap that was out. Snoop Dogg's era was mostly focused on the very laid-back, chilled rap. He came out with many albums known as Who I Am, also What's My Name, and Gin and Juice. Gin and Juice is one of the most popular albums of his era, and I feel like a lot of people don't know about that song. It's one of my favorites and also my dad's. I love Snoop Dogg. Just back onto the topics, I just wanted to go over just how the 2000s were mostly focused on pop and rap. Main people of this time was Jay-Z, Kanye West, Eminem, Nelly, and Missy Elliott, as well as many more, but these are the main ones that I was able to discover. Snoop Dogg was one of the main artists that I feel like really formed, and when I really look back on the 2000s, my view is always just Snoop Dogg, so that's why I chose to do a little bit of background on him and just songs that he was able to come out with during this era. Now that you got a little bit of background on the 2000s, I'm going to be leading you into the next topic, which is going to be a main focus on the genre from the 2010 to 2020. Thank you guys for listening to my topic of the 2000s, and I hope to talk again.
Hi everyone, my name is Cindy, and today I'm gonna introduce one of the most influential rappers from 2010, and his name is Drake. Before I get started, I just try to say, if you are his fans or you think that what the information I shared is incorrect, please feel free to let me know or make a comment, because it's always the correcting things is always good things, like to learn more or something. So please free to do that, and I will make an apology here first. And okay, we can get started now. This man was wearing fake shoes when he made a MV, and then he always like pretty poor looking guy, and his name is Drake. Personally, I think his voice is also like a Drake, but he is still the king of the rap, and he's a Canadian. If you think that this is the alternative rappers who wear middle-aged and elderly sweaters on almost any occasions is a greasy or stingy poor man, then you are wrong. In fact, he is a very rich man. He spent $100 million to build his own property. And just like his mattress cost about $390,000, and his closet, like behind me, is a closet. His closet is full of crystal and diamonds. So even though and also his like every little thing we can see on every family's property, but for him, he must make very rich and very expensive. Like even his toilet is with neon lights around and can sing. It's just amazed me. And he also let the Louis Vuitton designers customize patterns for their own 185 million private jet. And he also built a NBA standard stadium indoors. In addition to his mention, I am amazed by his life experience. With his boundless creative and extraordinary talent. In just a few years, he has gone from an unknown young man from writing a song from basement to a single legend on the top 100 hit songs. So Toronto sent him a private jet directly in order to ask him to endorse. He used to wear all the fake laundries, but now he's branding with Air Jordan. It may be that life is so smooth and easy that Drake is all confident and just so very smooth life and confident, although the netizens often makes fun of him. He doesn't care at all, and after all, the real dignity of an adult is strength, not vanity. So I'm trying to say that he is a very talented rappers, and he doesn't care what people say. He just like live real for himself, and that's the point I really like about him. Okay, so it's my introductions is I am about finished. And okay, so see you next time.
In conclusion, we have told you the story about the evolution of hip hop. Myself, Aurelie, Jesus, Taylor, and Sydney told you the story about the most influential artists of each decade up until now from the 1970s. And we'd like to leave you with a quote from the notorious B.I.G. We can't change the world unless we change ourselves. Thank you for watching.